on a train to Brussels, but I'll be back in London at the end of my trip. But I just wanted to say hello from a familiar site. If you've been watching the vlogs for a bit, you'll know I was in London last year. And anyway, sorry, I was taking a photo for someone, but anyway, this is a familiar site. You've been watching the vlogs for a while, but like I said, I'm not here very long. I'm only here just for a few hours, but I'll be back at the end of my trip for a few days. I love London. I know it's very stereotypical, but it is one of my favorite cities that I've been to. But yeah, there's so much I have to explore. I would have done something here this morning, but my flight was late, and then the tube took a long time to get down here to King's Cross, St. Pancras. So anyway, I will check back in later, but for now, enjoying London for just a little bit longer, and then I'll be back at the end of my trip. But I'm so excited to be backpacking again, and this is just the beginning of an amazing 7.5 weeks, so I'm really excited. Belgium and in Brussels, and yesterday I actually flew into London Heathrow, and I took the Eurostar over here to Belgium. It was about a 2-hour train. It was just significantly cheaper for me to just go ahead and fly into London and then take the Eurostar versus flying into London, taking another flight to Brussels. I would have had to change airlines and all that, and it was honestly going to be more expensive. So I just was like, oh darn, I got to go into London for a little. But I will be back in London. Like I said in the previous clips, London is one of my favorite cities, and I know it's very stereotypical, but it is one of my favorite cities. So anyway, I'm here in Brussels for a few days. I'm in an Airbnb just to start, and then I'll start staying in hostels, but it is actually pretty warm here. I feel like I'm sweating, and I brought clothing more for fall. So anyway, today we're going to go explore this city a little bit, and I'll take you along with me, and I will let you know and tell you more about this amazing place. So without further ado, let's get into it. My first stop of the day was to the Parliamentarium, which is free to visit, and it's open every single day of the week. If you didn't know, the European Union, the Parliament, has 3 meeting places in Brussels, Strasbourg, and Luxembourg. So this Parliamentarium really helps explain how the Parliament works. And for someone who's not from any European Union country, it's really informative. I knew how it worked somewhat, but not fully. So this exhibit was a really great way to help me understand. Then I went over to the European Parliament building. So you can visit actually the hemicycle here in Brussels. It is free, and there's an audio guide that will take you around. It's about an hour long. I do suggest going here after the Parliamentarium so you can understand more about how the Parliament works, but honestly, you can do it either way. I just prefer the order I did it in. And even depending on the day, you might be able to sit down in on a session. So go to the website to learn more. Hello, so I am in the Parc du Cinquantenaire. I'll put the pronunciation, but anyway, I'm here at this beautiful park. I did the Parliamentarium this morning in the European Parliament, which essentially is the 2 different things you can go see. So you can actually go to the European Parliament, and I went and I looked and learned how the Parliament works in the EU. I'm not an EU citizen, so it's a little bit different for me, but it's honestly not that different to a certain extent from US politics, but also very different. And then I also went to the Parliamentarium, which is a little bit more of an exhibit. It also talks about how the Parliament works and other things that the Parliament has done here in the EU. And then I walked by Leopold Park, which is like right there by the Parliament building, and now I'm in this other park, where I'm gonna walk around a bit, and then I'm going to head a little bit more into the center of Brussels. But it's a beautiful day. It's just a little warm for what I'm wearing, but it is beautiful here and I do like it. I wouldn't say first impressions wise, I don't think it's my favorite city, but again, I've only been here for like less than 24 hours, so I can't really make too much of a judgment, but I do like it here. People are nice, and yeah, but I'm gonna go and explore more and see what else there is to have here in Brussels. If you have a nice day, definitely make sure you walk around the park and make sure you visit the Triumphal Arch. It's a great place for photos. And the arch kind of reminded me a little bit of the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. I don't know if that's intentional, but it is kind of reminiscent. Not exactly, but sort of. You just visit it. Visit both places, you'll see what I mean. Then I went over to visit my first cathedral of the trip. If you know anything about Europe, you know you see a lot of churches and cathedrals, but they are fun and nice to look at nonetheless. It was a free thing, and this cathedral is located in central Brussels and is a medieval cathedral which was completed in 1519. I don't think it's a must-do, but I think it's something if you have a couple minutes, I would just pop in and check it out. Then I walked over to the Royal Palace of Brussels, but it's, as you can see, under renovation at the moment. The Royal Palace is the King's administrative residence and the main workplace, and it does typically open to the public every summer after the national holiday of the 21st of July, and it stays open till September. Should be open next year in the summer of 2024. Then I walked over to one of the many galleries in Brussels, and I checked out a few of the chocolate places. If you don't know, Belgium is known for its chocolate, so I grabbed a couple of chocolates from various chocolatiers and tried it throughout my trip. And then finally, my last stop of the day was to this peeing statue of a girl. There's a big thing in Brussels with peeing statues, as you'll see later. I am here at the Atomium, I think that's how you say it, here in Brussels. This was built in 1958 for the World's Fair that was hosted here in Brussels. You can go inside and get beautiful views of Brussels. I don't think I'm personally going to go in just because it's a little bit more than I want to spend, but apparently it's a great day. The views should be great. But there is a park near here, so I might walk through there. Also over here is Little Europe, which is a miniature version of iconic places here in Europe. I think that's also like not too bad price point wise, but more than I want to spend. But anyway, it's a beautiful day. I'll take you along and we will go explore the grounds around here before heading back into the city center. Something I did not mention with the Atomium, but it is a little outside of the main city center. You can take the public transit to get to it. It's not that far, but just kind of know that. And I really just think you should still visit even if you aren't going inside, because it is kind of a cool, iconic thing to see in Brussels. Then I just walked around a bit and just went into some of the other galleries and just kind of overall wanted just to check out the city a bit more. There's a lot of various murals throughout the city, and then I even went to the Grand Place, which is an area that's pretty popular and pretty busy in Brussels, but the architecture here is absolutely stunning, and it's a nice place to visit, get a couple of good iconic photos before moving on with your day. After this, I did head back to my Airbnb for a little bit just to relax, have some dinner before I went out in the evening. But on my way home, you will see that I saw a busker with singing a song that I just cannot get away from, apparently, in Europe and Australia. Love and affection, whether I'm right or wrong, down the waterfall. Life won't break me.
so strong, but she won't forsake me.
Like I mentioned, I went out that evening. I actually went on the Brussels pub crawl, which was pretty affordable. I want to say it was 14 euros if you paid prior to going, and it was just a really fun night. Highly recommend it if you want to meet people in Brussels. Good afternoon. It is my last full day here in Brussels. Pardon the shine. I put on sunscreen, and it's also really hot here. But anyway, it's my last full day here in Brussels. I don't have a ton I want to do. It's just a couple of like last minute things I just want to go look at. And then I was going to do, not groceries. I was going to do my laundry and then pack and try to figure out how to get where I'm going tomorrow. So yeah, last night, I went on a pub crawl, with Brussels pub crawl, and it was really fun. Met some people, yeah, and then I came home really late. So yeah, I slept in a bit this morning, and now I'm gonna just go look at a couple things and then do my laundry, and that's about it. So I'll take you along, but yeah, I feel like I need to get back into the groove of vlogging, and I want to change my vlogging style. I just don't know if it's gonna actually happen, but I'm really trying to make more of an effort with this series of videos just to change my vlogging style, but we'll see. Anyway, oh my god, it is hot, but it should be cooling off here in the next few days, thank god. But anyway, I'm gonna go out and I'll show you a couple things, and that'll be it for Brussels, and we'll go to the next place. So this was my last full day. Obviously, because I went out the night before, I had a later start, but I did check out the statue of Peter Pan in Egmont Park. I believe that's what it's called. And really, I just kind of walked around and did laundry, like I said. I also saw a couple more of the peeing statues. I saw the peeing statue of the boy, and then also the peeing statue of the dog. I also forgot to mention, I went to this church, another cathedral here in Brussels. And again, I don't think it's something you have to go to, especially if you go visit many cities in Europe. You're going to see so many churches, and they do start to blend together. But stained glass was nice. It was a pretty church, and it was free. So if you have a couple minutes, take a look, check it out. But I don't think it's something you have to do. But after visiting the church, like I said, I went and I saw a couple of the peeing statues. I really don't understand why it's a thing here in Brussels, but it is. And that was really the end of my time in Brussels. Hello, good morning. I am headed to Antwerp now. I'm leaving Brussels. I've had an okay time here. It wasn't my favorite place I've ever been, but it wasn't terrible. I am really excited though to continue exploring Belgium and heading to Antwerp for a couple days to check out and see how that city is. So let's head to the train station. Let's get on the train. It's not too far. It's about like an hour and change from door to door. So I will take you along and we will go explore Antwerp for a couple days. So let's go. Welcome to Antwerp. So I am here outside of the Steen, which is the oldest building in Antwerp, and it's right along the waterfront there. But I have 2 days to explore this city. It's definitely a bit more charming than Brussels in my opinion, definitely a little bit more European-esque. I know it sounds weird to say, but I am just getting the lay of the land here today, doing a couple of museums, going to some local sites and some major places to go visit here. And then tomorrow, I guess is kind of the same thing, but yeah, so I'll take you along. But like I said, the Steen is right here and it's beautiful. I wish it was just a better day because it's a little cloudy. But without further ado, let's just go explore and walk around a bit.
Now, I will admit, I am not the biggest museum person, especially like when it comes to art museums or whatnot. So you'll actually see on this trip, I didn't do a ton of museums, but I did go to the Museum Plantin Moretus, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And it is the original residence and printing house of the Plantin Moretus publishing family, right in the heart of Antwerp. The museum, I think I flashed the price there. It's not too expensive. I want to say it's 12 euros for adults, 8 for students. I think they gave me the 8 price point for me. But it's a really cool museum to go to because they have some really old prints and some of the oldest printing presses in the world. So I definitely recommend it. Spend a couple of hours there. And then you can walk over to the MAS, which is an art museum, and just pretend this escalator is going up. But if you go up many, many escalators to the top, you can actually get a free view of the city below. So it's a really cool way to see Antwerp from a higher vantage point, and you don't have to pay a single penny. If you want to go to the actual museum itself, you do have to pay, but it is free to go all the way up to the top. And I found that out on TikTok of all places, so definitely recommend it. Then I went to the Grote Market, which is kind of where like the city hall is, and this kind of questionably safe ride bike thing. I don't know. I wasn't gonna do it, but you to each their own, right? Then I went to the hostel in the evening and watched this beautiful sunset on the rooftop. Then the next morning, I headed over to the Central Station in Antwerp, which is an absolutely gorgeous building. And you might even go into the station if you take the train here. But if not, definitely just walk over and give it a good visit. There's a lot of history, and it's probably one of the most beautiful train stations I've seen in all my travels.
This is the second building. The original building was built out of wood, but this building was constructed between 1895 and 1905. But it sustained some damage during World War II during some of the bombings. And they almost actually had to demolish this station, I believe back in the 80s. But they were able to fix the roof, but you can still see some warping from the bombs on the roof. But it is an absolute beautiful station. I'm so glad they did not tear it down. But it is the main train station here in Antwerp. You can get regional trains, you can get local trains. There's a lot of different trains here, but it's absolutely something you should come and see when you visit Antwerp. So now we're gonna head over to Chocolate World. I think that's what it's called, Chocolate Nation. There we go. And see how Belgian chocolate is made.
So after the train station, I walked over to Chocolate Nation, which there are a multitude of chocolate museums in Belgium. I just chose this one. I really did enjoy it. It was a little bit on the pricey side at €19.90, but it was still fun. It was really interactive. There's a audio guide that really kind of brought you through the chocolate making process. And even at the end, you got to taste, I want to say about 10 different varieties of chocolate in their liquid form, which I guess is the best way to taste chocolate. So definitely recommend giving this a visit. Like I said, it is very touristy, but you have to visit at least one chocolate museum when you're in the country. So definitely do recommend this one. And then after I visited Chocolate Nation, I went and I had a cute little waffle. This was a Liège waffle from the Smallest Waffle Shop. It was pretty good. And then I also went and got some more chocolates, and then I went and got frites. Now, frites are basically fries, but don't call them French fries because there's actually a lot of debate whether fries originated in Belgium or in France. But they were pretty good. Definitely recommend trying them with mayonnaise because that is, I guess, the traditional way, but I don't like mayonnaise, but they were still pretty good. And that's it. That was my time in Brussels and Antwerp. I had a great start to my time in Belgium. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and make sure you follow me on my social media channels. And I'll catch you next time. Remember to wander far and wander often. arrived at my third stop in Belgium, which is Bruges. Hello and welcome to my final city here in Belgium on this trip, Ghent.